is a language that has no words. You don't need to understand to see its worth. Lines and shapes tell of stories and worlds.
Hello, I'm Chin Hui, and this is my end of year art, which is gotten from this scene.
CORONA, get it clear, there's a virus, it will kill us. It's like a curse, even more worse. There's no such thing as a reverse. Cases.
Almond and oatmeal cookies. We even use dark chocolate for chocolate chips, so they're healthy for you. And oatmeal is healthy for you too, because they're high.
Conform, nor does it have to be off the norm. Really, anyone can create art. There's no need to be clever or smart. You just got to make a start, and soon you'll be art's Mozart.
Good morning, Mr. To, Mr. Tra, Madam Tay, teachers, and fellow Regents. The MCs from Two Thinking are back again.
Today, we're going to be talking about
art.
More specifically, installation art.
Installation art is a 3D art form that often take up quite a bit of space in a room or outside and transform viewers' perception about things.
Imagine walking into a mall and seeing the various items on display behind the glass. The display makes you think of buying those stuff, right? Similarly, installation art makes you think about stuff.
Artists who make these works of art are known as installation artists.
Donna Ong is one of such local artists. Let's find out more about her art journey and practice.
Hi, I'm Donna Ong, and I'm an installation artist. My Chinese name is Mei Ting, which means beautiful and refreshing, and my name is Donna, which means lady. My practice evolves around the imaginary, the magical, and the fantastic. And it's something that I experienced a lot as a child, just reading and just exploring like things like your garden or just little things, you know, the way that a child sees things is very different sometimes. So when I was younger, I had a maid who was from Sri Lanka, and she was very good at art, and she did all my art homework. And so I used to score very high for art, and I had this impression that I was very good at art, and everybody thought I was very good at art because of her. I think the belief only made me decide to take up art at A level because I thought, since my father's an artist and I scored well in art when I was in primary school, I decided to take up art A level, but I think reality hit soon, and then you have to decide whether you really want to go for it or not, because I think natural talent can take you only so far, and I don't think I'm as naturally talented as some of the other artists, so I had to work quite hard at it. I started with the idea of embrace and what it means to embrace in terms of landscape. My work deals a lot with archetypal landscape, and I was interested in this idea of landscape, that even if we haven't seen the actual landscape, we know instinctively what it looks like or what it might feel like. And I think I wanted to give the children that type of experience, that the world that they're surrounded in isn't the only world that they can experience. There are other worlds. They're like storybook worlds. They're real worlds, but they also like kind of combine as well. And I kind of wanted to put these two worlds together. I guess I thought of it as children being a more difficult audience because you have to work a lot harder. You know, they're not going to pretend they like it if they don't like it, and they're not going to stay around if they're bored. And so I think the main challenge was how to keep their attention. And a lot of my work it's very still. And so I decided to include a sound element and also to include a light element as well. So the lights will actually change and animate the paper cuts. So even though the paper cuts are very still, you have this element of movement in terms of the sound and in terms of the lights as well. And it adds an element of time into a very still artwork.
Similarly, the Sec 2 also explored the 3D art form by recreating a scene from their favorite book, movie, or game in repurposed book art sculptures.
The book becomes a specific site where students challenge the assumptions and confines of a book form and dissects the anatomy of a scene from 2D to 3D. Let's take a look at the creative process of Qianhui from Do Commitment.
Hello, I'm Qianhui, and this is my end of year art, which is gotten from this scene. I first started by making a storyboard for the scene that I wanted to do, which ended up being 4 pages and more than 50 panels long, which was for a 2-minute and 47-second scene. And in this shot you can see there's a knife, but I didn't do it in the actual thing itself because I didn't know how to, and this was the planning which differed a lot from the original. And I initially wanted to use thinner sticks, but it couldn't support its own weight, so I had to use thicker sticks. And then after that progression, I painted my hand blue, and then I have the book cover, which I am pretty proud of, and then I painted my hand green. And then I made the particles of light from jumping clay, and I painted it yellow with paint. And I made a Koro Sensei, which was very small, as like the so-called protagonist that has disappeared, I guess. And I'm lucky that the lights came in time, because if they didn't, I think my art would have been doomed. And I'm lucky that they were yellow in color as well, because if they weren't, I don't think it could have worked. And I actually did a storyboard for the Kimetsu no Yaiba scene where Tanjiro fights Rui. And it was also a 52 panel long and 5 pages long scene for a 1-minute and 45-second clip, I think. And then it didn't really work out either, because the aluminium foil didn't have expressions, and I didn't know how to make the trees in the scene itself, so I ended up picking sticks from the field during PE, but it ended up not working. And then I hurt myself. I cut myself with a penknife by accident, because that thing was sharp and it hurt. Not really though, like, yeah. And then I brought my project to school in a box because it was huge and it was fragile, but it ended up breaking apart. And then this was the Attack on Titan scene that I think deserves to die, and that's the stuff I have left after art. And overall, I think my art wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, even though it definitely could have been more impressive and more closely related to the actual scene itself. So that was something disappointing, and that's the end, I guess.
We hope you enjoy the videos and have better understanding of these 3D art forms and the decisions artists made when they create artworks.
See you tomorrow.
That's the most awkward see you tomorrow.